Everybody, this is Trey. This is the poor man's review on the Steven Spielberg movie, Lincoln. Well, I thought it was a pretty cool movie. It had its points, but the coolest thing was at the very beginning when the blue coats and the gray coats were having a battle with each other. Some of y'all might say the Yankees and the Rebels, or the North and South, or the United States and the Confederacy. Well, they flash back. It's a flashback, and then you see Lincoln sitting there talking to some soldiers, and they said, at the Battle of Jenkins Ferry. Well, Jenkins Ferry battle is outside of Fordyce, Arkansas, about 30 minutes from where I live. I thought that was pretty cool about the movie. I mean, as soon as it's starting off, it's talking about a battle in Arkansas. Not a lot of people that probably watched the movie even know that, but I studied history, and I had my share of Civil War classes with Dr. Shea down in Monticello, Arkansas. So I've heard a lot about Jenkins Ferry. Well, then, the funniest part of the whole movie was right after all this, a few minutes later, well, it flashes to Lincoln in his office, and these people come in from Jefferson City, Missouri, and they own a tow road that had been taken away by some soldiers, and they want it back. And they've got a letter from John Quincy Adams, the 4th President of the United States, that says it's theirs. Well, Lincoln asked them a few questions. Do you believe in the 13th Amendment? Do you think it should be passed? And, well, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And, well, they go back and forth talking. And then, right before he's letting them go, hand me the letter, and I'll look over it and see what the legalese is. And just call your congressman and tell him to vote for the 13th Amendment. How can you call your congressman if the telephone hadn't even been invented yet? The telephone wasn't invented until 1876. And this is 1865. So, yeah, that's a little blooper, I guess. I guarantee you, most of the people that watch the movie do not even catch that, because they probably think the telephone's been around since the dinosaurs. Then, it goes back and forth. It delves into the life of Lincoln and Mrs. Lincoln. They had a middle child that was sickly, and he died while they were in the White House. She blames him. I guess he blames her. And he's consumed with the Civil War, trying to keep the Union together. And they have a bunch of friction with each other because of that. And, overall, it's a pretty historically accurate movie, except for the telephone part. But the one thing I didn't like about the movie was it probably dropped the GD bomb at least 15, 20 times. It's a historical movie. Why does it have to have all the cussing? And, it didn't just have any kind of cussing. It just, there was a few other cuss words in the movie, but they said GD, I don't know how many times, 15, 20, it might have been 30. But that part just shouldn't have been in the whole movie. But Steven Spielberg, overall, must have combed through the Library of Congress records, the Congress records, because it was pretty accurate. I thought it was pretty cool at the end as they're having the vote for the 13th Amendment. And then the bell's ringing, and by studying history, that's how I've been told that the story went. And I thought that was pretty cool. Well, out of all that I just told you, I love the movie to death, and if it wasn't for all the GD bombs in this movie, I would have had to give it 4.5 stars, 4.5 buckets, popcorn buckets at that. But since there was so much, there was just GD bombs in it, not overtly just all through the movie, but it was enough to make me say, really? So I have to give the movie 3.75 popcorn buckets because of all the cussing in it, because it's a historical movie. It didn't need the cussing. So with all that said, get out and go watch Lincoln. It's a really great movie. For 2.5 hours, it had me on my seat. My girlfriend, my fiance's talking to me, and I'm kind of like, shut up, I'm watching the movie. Because most of the time, I'll just turn around and start talking, carrying on a conversation with her if I don't really care what the movie is. But, with all that said, I really like the movie. If it wasn't for all the cussing, I would have gave it 4.5 popcorn buckets. But since it had a bunch of GD bombs in it, I had to go with 3.75. So if you don't go see it in the movie theater, make sure you get it on your queue and watch it on Netflix. Peace.